In this video I'm talking about the Iceberg model, which is very popular in systems thinking. So somebody came up with this model and I will explain this model. I will talk about why I like it and why I don't like it. What is the problem with this model? So the Iceberg model have 4 layers. The top layer is the event layer where things happen. So this is what you can experience in your everyday life. And I will use 2 examples. One is that you have a toothache suddenly. So this is an event and you experience this. And the other example, that how a young child, let's say 2 years old, experiences crossing the road in a traffic light. Okay, so the traffic light is red and everybody stops, and the child can experience this if he or she looks at the light, and then it becomes green, and if the child look at the lights and observe that it's changed and everybody moves. So this is an event. The event is that when the traffic light is red, people stop. When it's green, people start to cross the road. Okay. The second layer in the Iceberg model is the pattern. So things usually just don't happen one time, but it happens again and again, and then you can observe regularity. So if this happens and after that happens. So when the child experiences the crossing the road, it sees that, oh, every time it happens, it's not just one time. Oh, there is a reason. So there is a regularity. So the level is not about the reason. The level 2 is about regularities, that every time most people stops when it's red and most people crosses the road when it's green. So this is some happens. And let's say in the toothache problem, when I eat cold food, I feel very sensitive. When if it's not cold, I don't feel. So there is a regularities. Cold food, ice cream causes toothache. So I observe a pattern. Now, when there is a pattern, probably there is something that this causes this pattern. And if we want to have a very simplified thinking, not system thinking, then we can think about cause-effect relationship. So it's also possible that we observe 2 things, so one causes the second, but it's also possible that something else caused the first one, and then the same thing caused the second one. For example, lightning and then thunder, you hear the thunder. So both of them are caused, a third thing, some discharge in the sky, electric discharge, cause something that you can see, and a few seconds later you can hear it. So it's not the lightning cause the thunder, but something else. So the third layer is the underlying cause. You understand what causes, what things together causes the regularities and the event. So this can be, let's say, in a social system, it can be laws, legal laws, or it can be natural laws. It can be regulation, culture, cultural norms, expectations, agreements. Okay. So let's say that the traffic light example, there is a law, a traffic law that says that if it's red, then you have to stop. So people follow this rule. So there is a rule, a traffic law, and people follow this, and that's why the young child can observe that people stop at the red light and cross at the green light. But the child doesn't know this, so it's not observable a lot of times. So you really have to understand what motivates the people, what makes people behave in a certain way, and usually there is some underlying things, and usually you cannot see this. Or in the toothache problem, maybe you have bacteria in your teeth, and the bacteria destroy your outer layer of your teeth and reach the nerve. So the underlying cause is in this case a physical cause. So the sensitivity comes because there is a hole in your teeth. Okay, and the fourth layer is, according to the Iceberg model, is the mental model. So the traffic lights example, people cross the road because there is a law. Somebody created this law. So there was an idea first, a mental model, how to regulate the human traffic, how to regulate the crossing the road, and somebody, a committee, came up with, so it was a mental model. And also there is a second aspect of mental model. People understand the rules and they are willing to follow. So this willing to follow, it's not a mental model. That's why I would modify this. It's not a mental model, it's a mindset, because it's about the value that I want to follow and the goal that I want to follow and that I don't want. Even if people understand the mental model, what is the rule, it doesn't necessarily that they follow, because maybe they don't care and they have other values and other goals. So it should be not a mental model but mindset. And because people, that there was a mindset to create the rules, and there is a mindset of the people who are willing to follow the rules. They understand the rules and they are willing to follow, and that's why people have this behavior that they understand the traffic laws, they are willing to follow, and then that's why they behave in the way that the child can observe. But in the toothache there is no mental model, but there is a cause. So that is one weakness, that not necessarily there is a mental model. It can be a natural phenomenon that physical things interact with each other, and even there is no any mental model, it can be pattern. So let's say the sun and the earth, there are a lot of things that interaction creates something, and there is no any mental model. So this is one weakness of the Iceberg model, that there is no mental model all the time. When it comes to social things, yes, mental models or mindset. Okay, and my big problem with this Iceberg model, that actually it's not really system thinking, because it actually what it says, that there are mental models cause like regulations and policies and things that people follow, and then there are events. So it's like a straight one cause effect. In a system thinking, if you really want to use system thinking, you should be able to see loops, that things interact. What creates mental model? This model doesn't give any answer, it just exists. Mental models exist and that cause things. No, mental models are dynamic, we change it, we create it, including all the others, that events when we observe. For example, money works because people, the group, have a shared beliefs that if I pay, if I use this paper, they will accept. So I'm willing to work or sell products for this piece of paper or metal or a number of a computer hard disk. So I observe that money works. So it's an event and patterns. Every time I observe, and that confirms my beliefs that this piece of paper is powerful because I can buy food for this. Okay, so my mental model about money is confirmed by every event that happens to me. So they accept my money and observe other people, that other people also use money. Okay, so there are a lot of loops that influences my mental model. Mental model cannot be the starting point, because people have mental models caused by the society and the culture. We learn from each other, and we learn from experiences from events and we think about patterns. Okay, so mental model, we create mental models. So the iceberg model is the weakness that is not represent system thinking. It is the simplified cause effect that mental model cause people to create rules and regulations, and that cause patterns and individual events. So it is not a real system thinking tool. It is a cause effect tool, but it still has some benefit to explain deeper causations.